Hello and welcome to the series Will You Take Me Home?, which is a story about the acceptance of technology by humans. This series was prepared by Agnieszka Landowska from the Gdańsk University of Technology, and it was made possible by the European Union's Erasmus Plus project CHADOPT, which stands for Teaching Students How Children with Neurodevelopmental Disorders Adopt and Interact with Technologies. The series Will You Take Me Home explores how people decide whether to use the technologies proposed to them. It is about technology acceptance models and the reasons why you incorporate certain technologies into your life. Consisting of 7 parts, the series begins by outlining the challenges of technology adoption and acceptance. It then provides detailed description of acceptance models and concludes by examining the perspectives of specific user groups on technical solutions. Right now we are watching part 1, Technical Products and Their Adoption. Links to the other parts of the series can be found in the comments. Let me start by defining some basic terms of technology acceptance, adoption, and diffusion, as well as the differences between them. Technology acceptance refers to an individual's appraisal of technology and positive attitude towards using it. Willingness to use may be declared on a personal or institutional level, but it still applies to an individual or institution's attitude. Technology adoption is a broader term because it refers to the entire process, from when a user first learns about a new technology to when he or she decides to actually use it. Technology acceptance is a part of the technology adoption process. Technology diffusion, in contrast to the previous 2 terms, refers to a society or group of target users. It describes how the use of technology spreads within this group and how it develops over time. This series is primarily about the acceptance of technology by humans, but you will also become familiar with 2 other concepts. Let's start with the latter one. But first, let's consider an example. Have you ever thought about why some products just don't hit the market? There are examples of technologies that were really promising but never reached the majority of the market. One of them is Google Glass. The project started in 2012 with a great debut. Celebrities like King Charles were asked to try out the new product. This product could quickly capture images and search the internet for anything. But people started to notice that the product could secretly record a video, and that's when things went wrong. Some places like bars, restaurants, and movie theaters have banned the gadget and even given people who used it a bad label. Finally, Google stopped production of Google Glass in March 2023. One of the models how innovation spread over the society of group of users was proposed by Rogers in 1962. His core insight is that the diffusion of innovation is a process that occurs through a social system. He proposed a curve based on normal distribution that depicts the number of customers of a specific innovative product in the function of time. The horizontal axis on this chart is time, while the vertical axis represents the number of people who start to adopt technology at a given moment. Roger classified customers based on their openness to innovation and the resulting delay in adopting the new product. As shown here, customer segments are ordered by time of adoption. 1. Innovators, 2. Early adopters, 3. Early majority, 4. Late majority, and 5. Laggards. The number of people in each group is defined by the characteristics of a normal distribution. Innovators, who make up just 2.5% of customers, are people who love trying new things and being the first to gain new experiences. Next are the early adopters, who are more skeptical but still willing to explore the possibilities of new technologies. The majority of users are more pragmatic. They adopt new technologies once their effectiveness is proven by the initial customer group. Laggards follow the crowd and adapt only when they have no other choice, sometimes only because an alternative solution they were accustomed to is no longer available. The key aspect of Roger's model is the recognition that individuals' approach to new technology varies significantly, and they may adapt new solutions for various reasons. Apart from the model of technology diffusion in society, there are several models that describe the technology adoption process at the individual level. Most authors distinguish several phases of the adoption process. The first phase is becoming aware of a new solution through advertisements, presentation, or word of mouth. The second phase involves looking for information and determining if a user needs a product. The third phase is the decision, when the decision is made on whether acquire a product. The fourth phase is an adjustment phase, when the technology is adapted to fit the user's needs and routines. Next comes the implementation or use phase, followed by the confirmation phase, which justifies the money and effort spent. Special attention in this model should be given to the adjustment phase, because some adaptation strategies may really surprise the product producers. Here are a couple of surprising ways elderly users adapt technology. The use of a magnifying glass, shown at the right photo, is the least surprising. The first example involves simplifying the interface of a TV pilot. The second example is printing screenshots of photos instead of the photos themselves. The third example shows complex URLs written down by hand. We may laugh, but I believe different conclusions can be drawn. First, some products are too complex or simply too small for specific groups to use. Second, it's not always about the product itself, but also the instructions and support systems that come with it. Third, some users just don't give up. Another research by Lee proposes 4 dimensions of the technology adoption process, which he calls domestication process. The author did not call them stages, as he noticed that they don't come one after another, but users usually make several rounds of activities belonging to a specific dimension. The first dimension is appropriation, which is a process of possession or ownership of the artifact. Then there comes the objectification stage, when the technology is given its meaning and place in user's life. Then the dimension of incorporation describes the process during which artifacts are used in everyday life. And a very interesting dimension is conversion, which works both ways. Technologies are converted to fit to user routines, and sometimes user routines are converted to adjust and to fit the technology. There is just another example of a product that turned out not to be successful over time. This is the Oral-B AI toothbrush. The brush, along with accompanying mobile application, were released in 2019. The Washington Post called it the peak of artificial intelligence mania. The products had motion and pressure sensors, as well as 16-zone real-time 3D teeth tracking mechanism, but it was not a success. The product enabled you to wash your teeth in a really correct way, like you had a personal dental coach. Ars Technica pointed out that AI toothbrush not only is coming for the teeth, but also is coming for the data, as it uses Bluetooth to capture information from sensors, and perhaps some other information as well. This product was not a huge success. Maybe it did not fit into the user's daily routines, even though they wash their teeth. Maybe we just don't like being told that we are doing something wrong every day for the last couple of decades. We have already reviewed the diffusion and adoption of technologies. Now let's discuss studies on technology acceptance. Technology acceptance models explore the factors that influence an individual user's decision to adopt technology. Each model takes into account a diverse set of factors that include the characteristics of the technological product, then individual factors such as skill and attitude and demographics of the user. They also take into account factors resulting from the context of technology use. The most well-known technology acceptance models are provided in the right side of the slide. TAM Technology Acceptance Model was proposed by Davis in 1986. Then it was extended by Venkatesh and Davis in the year 2000. They proposed the TAM2 model. Then they tried to incorporate new ideas and they created the Unified Theory of Acceptance and the Use of Technology model in 2003. Simultaneously, some people worked on the extension of the TAM2 model and proposed the TAM3 model in 2008. Finally, researchers tried to join all of the ideas resulting from the previous models and proposed the UTAUT2 model in 2012. These models will be explored in detail in subsequent parts of the series. You have watched part 1 of the series Will You Take Me Home? which is about the acceptance and adoption of technology by humans.